I want to rebuke William Ruto and the cabal that wants to censor the arts. You know, they tried it with the Quebec Bull, the guy who was doing the the artwork that shamed government, that shamed the things that was happening, including personalities that were involved in continuing to wreck the economy and the social space in Kenya. Quebec Bull, in fact, was a pioneer in terms of this particular generation in waking up Kenyans and saying enough is enough. And he used the silhouette art that were dark and properly shaped the heads of Kina William Ruto and other people who have been mismanaging the economy. But now we have a situation where schools are being censored. I'm talking about high schools, primary schools. Censorship has become the new policy that government wants to deal with the masses if they're opposing anything through literature and the arts, that these productions of literature are being now silenced. Censorship is a very, very evil thing to do. Because number one, when you censor a body or a person or an institution or the drama, the field of dramaturgy, you are just showing how insensitive you are. You are a paranoid person because plays only do one thing. Plays are there for entertainment, they're there for the masses to enjoy. Some plays are quite critical, but most plays will never say people's names, as in terms of being direct. Generally, artists or the playwrights try to conceal, and then they want you to make up your mind. Now, this particular play by Cleophas Malala, who himself was Secretary General of William Ruto's political party until they kicked him out, has always been a playwright, I think for the last 12 years. He has written many plays, and his plays are celebrated actually, especially in the student community. This year, last year, going along into this year, he produced 7 plays, generally for the secondary school theatrical competitions, the drama festivals. And then he produced this play, Echoes of War, or Echoes of War. And this is what is now being sabotaged by government and politicians, and even a trade unionist, named Francis Atwoli. But let's say we will not be surprised with Atwoli's comments about which is a good play or a bad play. He knows nothing about the theater, about literature. He's a gang man for hire. A trade unionist like Atwoli, who has been parading himself, and he says it openly, for every regime since Jomo Kenyatta. After that, he supported Daniel Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and even William Ruto. You wonder what kind of trade union leader, the topmost trade unionist in Kenya, has decided that workers and the children of workers are not worth it. I'm glad that Francis Atwoli, he only has a few days, maybe months, numbered in his political career as a trade unionist, because he should be one of those that the workers should be directly challenging that enough is enough. He should be dislodged from power. But back to the play that is being censored by the Kenyan state. Most plays now are being censored by the Kenyan states by virtue of being critical to leadership and what leadership is doing to Kenyan people at the moment. You can see that they've used this particular play, Echoes of War, as an experimental thing so that they rush a bill in Parliament that will deal with the, authors of such plays. It is very sad. This is the kind of thing Nazi Germany did. And, they were against the modern art of the time. And any artists who rebelled against that kind of thinking were dealt with accordingly. Now, there was a leader in Central African Republic as well, called Jean, can't remember his name now, Jean Bedel Bokassa, yes. The experiment of Bokassa in power from 1966 to 76 was utter totalitarian rule. It was dictatorship at the max. But he used his dictatorship as some form of experiment. He actually thought he was liberating the people of Central African Republic. And then here comes Bokassa in 1976, deciding that now he wants to become an emperor. And indeed, he was made emperor of the country until the people dislodged him in 1979. Because this is what Bokassa did. So Bokassa gave a contract to his wife to make school uniforms with a national emblem and pictures or wordings that celebrated Bokassa himself. Students and their parents said, no, we are not going to let our kids wear these things to school. There was no open tendering competition to make those school uniforms. His wife was supposed to be earning all this money. And you see, with a dictatorship, you must follow what the man at the top says. And so what happened thereafter is the children went to the streets and protested. These were primary school children and also high school kids. Hundreds were arrested, 150 were tortured and killed. And it is reported that in that massacre of 1979, Bokassa fed some of these children to lions. This was the kind of leader who not only destroyed the Central African Republic, but he hated any form of criticism, including thinking, just the fact that you want to think differently. Because the arts now was being churned out in the Central African Republic at the same time when people were protesting against the regime. We've seen it in Kenya before when Ngugi wa Thiong'o wrote this, I will marry when I want, Ngai Kandenda, and Jomo Kenyatta's regime opposed it totally. It was like an underground movement to have this play cited anywhere. So we must watch and challenge any form of censorship that the Kenyan